Hello parents and professionals, and welcome to the NLP for Kids video for this month. So this month what I'm going to be talking to you about is how we use behaviour plans and boundary setting and to some extent discipline to really change and improve the quality of interaction that we're having with our young people. So to explain this to you, today I'm going to be using a metaphor. Here is my metaphor for you. Alright, so here's what I want you to imagine. I want you to imagine that we have a house. And my question for you is, for what reason do we have walls on our house? Why do we need walls on the house? Well, the answer is, of course, the reason why we have walls is to provide protection. We also, to protect us from the cold and the external stuff and the outside world. We also have the walls there in order to keep us safe so that we don't lose our people and we don't lose our stuff. Now, some of you might also have a bit of a fence around your house as well, like this. There we go. So there's the fence and it comes around to the front, goes down to your little gate here. All right. So some of you have things like fences and gates on your house. So why do we do that? Well, we have the fences and gates there because we want to let our neighbours and other people know that this is our boundary. All right. So these parts here are called like our boundary walls. All right, and those boundary walls are to let other people know what they can and can't do, so where they can and can't cross over into our land, and when it would be trespassing and when it would be inappropriate. So we're letting others know about levels of appropriateness. And we also do it so that if it's a very windy day, then all of our outside belongings won't get blown away, because we don't want our stuff going all over the place, do we? We don't want a light breeze to come along and then it kind of takes off your football and your swing and everything else. So as well as having these boundaries for appropriateness, we also have them there because we want to be able to contain important things. All right. Now, how is this relevant to setting boundaries with children and young people? What's the crossover here? Where does the metaphor start to make sense? Well, it's this. The reason why we put boundaries in place for children and young people is because it provides them with a sense of protection. When you know that someone cares about you enough to say, you know what, that's not okay. You can't do that. It lets them know that you are protecting them, that you care enough about what happens to them, that you want to be able to keep them safe. So studies have already shown that children who are disciplined feel more loved because they are given a framework within which they are to interact and operate with the rest of the world, and they know where the boundaries are about how it is they choose to behave. Now, here's what's really interesting about when we do that. It also teaches them appropriateness about how it is that they should be behaving and interacting with others, what kind of citizens we want them to become in the future. And it also helps them to contain important things. And the important things that I'm referring to here are their emotions. If you do not put boundaries and frameworks in place for children to adhere to, then what we see is obviously not their physical possessions blowing all over the place and disappearing, but their emotions do. Their emotional state will be blowing around all over the place, and it won't be contained because we won't have put the appropriate structures in place for them to be able to contain it with. Very often when there are young people I'm dealing with who have things like high levels of anxiety, one of the go-to things I'm looking at these days is, what is your structure like behaviourally, discipline-wise? What's going on in your classroom and at home? Because children who are anxious quite often do not feel secure enough in their life. And sometimes that lack of security is linked to, or there's a correlation between that and the fact that maybe they've got a little bit too much freedom going on in their lives. And so they feel like they're kind of just drifting through without having direction and discipline to help keep them on the right track. Sometimes there is, from my conversations with parents in particular, there is this feedback around, you know what, he, she drives me so crazy that I give up and I give in and give them what they want. Now, it might seem like from the child's perspective that that's a small win in that moment, because maybe they'd been nagging and complaining, they finally got what they wanted, the thing that they'd been hoping for. But actually, the longer term ramifications of that giving in and giving up, instead of putting those boundaries in place for them and saying no and sticking to it despite the fuss that might be created, actually in the long run ends up creating this effect of either high anxiety, or their kind of behaviour and emotions are blowing around all over the place as if there were no walls, no windows, no boundaries, no fences, no gates, none of that security around them. So my challenge to you for this month is to evaluate your structures. You know, have we got good firm structures in place around the things that we most want to keep safe? I hope that's helpful for you. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this video. And in addition, if you are not already subscribed to the channel, then go ahead and click the red subscribe button. Make sure you like this video by giving it a thumbs up. And if you are not already part of the NLP for Kids family, head on over to our Facebook page, like us over there, and we will keep you updated with regular content each day throughout the month. All right, that's all for now. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.